The Denbigh Asylum, also known as the North Wales Hospital in the town of Denbigh, Wales, stands as a decaying monument to a century of psychiatric suffering. Opened in 1848, it was originally built to provide a haven for Welsh-speaking patients who were often mistreated in English-speaking institutions. However, what began as a progressive Victorian project descended into a nightmare of overcrowding, brutal medical experiments, and a lingering, heavy spiritual darkness. The architecture of despair. At its peak, Denbigh was a massive, sprawling complex designed to house 1,500 patients. But it frequently groaned under the weight of nearly double that number. The architecture was classic asylum Gothic towering limestone walls, long, echoing corridors, and heavy iron-reinforced doors. The most feared area of the hospital was the lobotomy wing in the mid-20th century. Denbigh became a centre for radical cures, desperate to manage the overcrowding. Doctors performed hundreds of prefrontal lobotomies and administered crude electroconvulsive therapy (ECT) without anesthesia. Many patients were left in vegetative states while others died from infections or surgical errors. The screams in the silence since its closure in 1995. The asylum has fallen into a state of preserved ruin. Floors have rotted away, and ivy crawls through broken windows. Yet those who have braved the no trespassing signs report that the building is far from empty. The most common report from urban explorers is the sound of phantom footsteps echoing down the long corridors. These are not the soft sounds of a person walking, but the heavy, rhythmic thud of leather boots believed to be the spirits of the strict Victorian wardens who once patrolled the halls with iron keys. Even more chilling are the auditory phenomena. Visitors frequently report hearing the clatter of tea trolleys being pushed through the kitchens, accompanied by the muffled, distant sound of hundreds of voices whispering at once. On several occasions, investigators have captured electronic voice phenomena EVPs of a woman's voice begging, "Please, I'm not mad." The shadow man of the wards. The most terrifying entity at Denbigh is known as the Shadow Man. He is described as a tall, pitch-black silhouette that moves with predatory speed through the old infirmary wards. Unlike a typical ghost, this figure is said to radiate an intense physical cold. In one documented account, an explorer was filming in the basement of the hospital when his heavy industrial flashlight suddenly failed. In the pitch black, he felt a hand grab his ankle with such force that it left bruises. When he managed to turn on a backup light, he saw a tall dark figure standing at the end of the hall. It didn't vanish. It simply walked through a solid, bricked-up doorway as if the wall wasn't there. The reputation of Denbigh grew so dark that in the early 2000s, a team from a popular paranormal television show attempted to hold a live broadcast from the site. The investigation was plagued by equipment failure and a sense of overwhelming malevolence. One medium claimed that the spirits at Denbigh weren't just sad, they were angry, furious at the way they had been discarded by society. Local legends speak of a specific room in the high-security wing known as the Cage. It was a small, windowless cell where the most violent patients were kept in total darkness. People who stand near the ruins of this room often report a sudden, blinding headache or the sensation of being watched by dozens of eyes from the corners of the ceiling. Today, Denbigh Asylum is a shell of its former self. Fires and vandalism have destroyed much of the interior, and the local council has struggled to find a developer willing to touch the site. Many locals believe the land is cursed. They point to the fact that almost every attempt to renovate the building has been met with freak accidents, financial ruin, or inexplicable delays. To the people of Denbigh, the hospital remains a scar on the hill. It is a place where the air stays still even on a windy day. and where the history of 150 years of human misery refuses to be silenced. It stands as a reminder that some buildings do not just hold history, they hold the people who suffered within them.